Hi guys, Dr. Chris here, and welcome to part 2 of my strategy guide for Summit on Insane Difficulty, using Squires only for the Xbox 360. In part 1 I used my Tower Squire to set up my defences, and now I have switched to my Attack Squire, who is levelled up to cause high damage per second with his melee attacks, and of armour to withstand the dragon's attacks. You can of course use a different class to actually slay the dragon, and other classes may be slightly easier, as you won't need to use the large ballistas quite so much. Okay, back to the action. As you can see, I'm on wave 7 out of 9 and I have fast forwarded things. Don't worry, I will resume normal speed once the dragon is about to approach. The action in the build-up to the dragon is actually pretty dull, but it does work well. I stand my squire at the bottom of the middle set of steps by the lower crystal and just block. Dull, I know, but I did try running about and attacking, but I would inevitably end up getting attacked by the Dark Elf Knights. And if there was one immune to poison, which is my sword's elemental damage, I could end up in serious trouble, or worse, one of my towers could be reduced to rubble in seconds. So by standing there, all the knights spawning near that bottom crystal will head directly to me, and then get battered by my turrets, which are safely out of the range of their attacks. And also, because my defences are strong enough, they can take out the 2 ogres which spawn, despite their 400,000 plus hit points, without me actually needing to use my melee attacks. This is where I was struggling previously, as I'd either get distracted by the ogres or the knights, and one side of my defences would get overwhelmed. Keeping an eye on the map is also good to see which towers need upgrading when there is a pause between the enemy spawns during each round, but just make sure you get back to that same spot before more knights appear. Obviously it's well worth upgrading and repairing things between rounds, just to make sure that nothing is taking too much damage. Just be warned that there is this last wave of Dark Elf Knights coming, but it looks like you only have about 50 or so enemies, and if you get distracted and go up to where the ogres normally spawn from, then they can decimate your defences just before the dragon is about to arrive. Okay, back to normal speed now, and as there are no more wyverns spawning in during the actual boss fight, I have sold the 2 harpoons to face the bowling ball, and this frees up some defense units, so I can summon the spike blockades just at the front. If I'd have remembered, I would have probably summoned some up in one of the two towers at the top as well. They don't do anything to attack enemies, but they just help deflect from the dragon's fireballs as he fires at the nearest objects or yourself. And therefore he'll be firing at these spike blockades rather than the bowling ball turrets or something more useful. A few final upgrades, and now the dragon is coming. Previously I'd always try and rush to one of the two towers, either side of where the dragon first starts off, and try and hit him with a blister then. But inevitably he'd always fly off in the opposite direction to the one I was standing in. And it was only recently that I actually realised that you don't need to run around at the tops of the towers, as there is actually a teleporter which takes you to the blister nearest where the dragon is. This is in the centre between the two top crystals, and you will be able to see it in a minute. The teleporter becomes active when it sort of has an orange glow about it. You just step into it, and then you find yourself near the blister closest to the dragon. You didn't see the glow that time, but I literally stepped into it just as it became active. And as you'll be able to tell through the rest of this video, my aim with these things is terrible. I fire so many times and just miss him completely. And looking at his attack pattern on this video replay, I can see that he actually weaves about. But you just have to time the shots until he is dead centre. It actually takes me 3 hits of the blister to finish him off once he's been grounded. And therefore I could have done this level a lot quicker had I hit him much more effectively. So there we go. I've downed him once. I always like to check the minimap to see which direction he goes, and I have terrible direction sense and usually end up running in the wrong direction to start with. In the time it takes for the dragon to fly off again, I can usually do about 500 to 600,000 points of damage on him. In between spawns it is worth just sort of checking to see if any of the turrets are particularly vulnerable. I do lose a few, but I'm able to kill the dragon off just before any enemies actually get up to the crystals. Okay, so that was the second time I downed him, and as you can see I start running off in completely the wrong direction. But I get my bearings eventually and catch up with him. Because I had so much mana, I probably could have activated Blood Rage a little bit sooner than I did and got there quicker. Again, don't worry too much if the dragon does actually kill you, unless you're trying to get maximum amount of points for the level. Inevitably you'll respawn at the centre near the teleporter area, and if he is near a blister then it'll take you straight there. The good thing about this defence setup is that everything's fairly central, so you don't need to worry too much about going off to different parts of the map to be able to repair things and upgrade. And there you see the spike blockades nicely distracting the dragon when he's in an area that I won't be able to shoot him with a ballista. If those blockades hadn't been there, then he may have destroyed, in fact, all 3 towers on one side. Got him. Right, now to finish this ugly little thing off. If you notice at the top, some of my defences are actually starting to go, so I only just managed to kill him, and I don't think I'd have been able to do it again had I had another round in play. I've skipped the credits, and this is me back in the tavern now, having just completed the level. And I just wanted to show you my stats for both my 2 knights. This is my attack squire, who I was just using then. I'd already completed this challenge, and therefore I'd had an animus for my squire already. Obviously you can just use whatever pet you have maximally upgraded. And this is my tower squire. And these are his stats. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video and that you found it useful. Feel free to send your comments about areas where you think it could have been improved. Thanks for watching. Take care.